Ready, play.
And it will be Eala to start. So Claire, we did Madison's match the other day with straight sets against Eala Avanesian. It looked routine in terms of the scoreboard, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't an enjoyable match for Madison Keys, and that could almost make her a little bit more dangerous today. She was playing with, you say, a lot of topspin, a lot of kick on the serve. Didn't look to be executing her first serve, flat first serve, and the ground strokes. She was playing with a lot of height. That's not Madison Keys' game.
Let first serve. Let first serve.
It may have been that she was working on a few things and adding in some extras into her game, certainly looking to be playing with more kick on the serve, but I think she would have taken to the practice courts yesterday and just looked to have a better ball feel, hitting the ball a little bit flatter and earlier.
4K15.
This would be a perfect start for Eala if she could get through this game. Nice to get her first ace there.
Start up there.
Ostapenko went 5-4 set point. She reeled off the next 3 games.
Love 15.
Yeah, and on that set point that she had to face, it was Ostapenko crushing a ball into Eala's forehand corner. A miss hit from Eala. Could have gone anywhere, but it landed actually opposite side of the court, diagonally stayed in. Then Ostapenko made an unforced error on a backhand. And the rest of the match, so after that point, 5-4 in the third latter 2+ games, Ostapenko, unfortunately for her sake, they were virtually all unforced errors.
Excellent return of serve there. You just see the court position that she's taken on the Madison Keys serve. That's when we're talking about doing your homework. She's inside the court, but she's also looking for her forehand. That's her opportunity to get Madison Keys on the move, and she will look for those today.
Does it again. This time not the clean winner, but low to the feet. She's got 3 break points.
I just love the intent in these couple of returns of serve. Desire to get onto that forehand to impose herself.
Another sparkling return, and it's a break for Eala.
That just looks so comfortable. Didn't it? She got some looks at some second serves, and that will hurt Madison Keys mentally as well. A little bit more pressure now on Keys to find the first serve. Well, what a perfect start.
She's hoping here to back it up. Eala, not the start she wanted in this game. Good get initially by Eala, but could do nothing thereafter. Keys.
Oh, and it's good to see just early on in this match, Eala, just to see how well she moves around the court. And obviously she's got quick little feet. She's got to make sure she gets a lot of Madison Keys' best balls back. So little feet. What I really meant was little steps. Fast off the ground.
Yeah. Dribbles over. Some luck there for the Australian Open champion.
Oh, for Eala there, she can't be too disappointed because Keys had to win that point. Yes, there was luck at the end, but every point she plays against her, she has to compete unconditionally to get every single ball back into the court and force her to hit that extra ball.
Drilled it. Quickly hits back, does Madison Keys. A break to love. And so we're back on serve early in this first set in Miami.
Time.
Quickly back on serve in this first set. Madison Keys, 1-2. Playing very close to home. Resides in Orlando. Native of Illinois originally. Well, that was a first serve return. She was all over it.
Exceptional return there. Came back. I don't think Madison Keys was expecting that at all. Such a good start from Eala off these returns.
Teeing off. It's Eala teeing off.
That's a brilliant start. So confident. She is so low to the ground when she's hitting these ground strokes. Taking the ball as early as she possibly can. Taking Madison Keys' pace and just redirecting it.
Could be another break in store. That got very high on Eala,
30,
above her shoulders.
Oh, she's trying to take this return of serve as early as she possibly can.
Swerve on that serve, and Keys is moving away with the side spin. Saves the two of them. Oh, that angle just gave her some opportunities.
Advantage.
Ended up winning
Eala.
point. Indeed, did Eala.
Madison Keys needed to put that forehand away, making the approach shot cross court. There's so much court for Eala to hit into.
Needs no invitation again.
Eala.
Crushes it.
Eala leads 3-1.
She's playing with so much confidence, and even that last return of serve, what she had learned from the serve that had gone up above her head just a couple of second serves ago, she put that straight into play. So she's learning as she goes. She took that one very early, didn't allow the serve to go up high above the shoulders. People are very pleased with that start from his protege today.
So a good last couple of days for the players from the Nadal Academy. Coleman Wong beating Ben Shelton in the third set tiebreak yesterday. That's what she would have wanted to do, presumably in this match, trying to get Keys on the move on the stretch. She did so there.
Yes, she did, and she's not going to want to give Keys too much time on the ball. I think she's increasing her tempo on her ground strokes today, Eala. She has to.
With that match against Ostapenko, been a pretty good dry run maybe for this one. Similar players, not identical, but the way they hit, how hard they hit the ball, Keys and Ostapenko.
Absolutely. The ball speed that's been delivered from Ostapenko will feel so similar. So she's had a really good warm-up. 2 tight sets. She won't get as many unforced errors as Ostapenko can give you. At times, Madison Keys can bring things back a little bit and play margins, go to game B or game C. Ostapenko, game A, if it doesn't work, she's going to go to game A the whole way through and hope that it does, and it nearly did yesterday or the day before.
Painted that one on the line.
When Madison Keys is just going to be thinking, can she keep this level up? And she's played that forehand with a lot more height and shape, but her opponent has just stepped in and she hasn't got involved in that kind of slower hitting rally.
Husband there of Madison Keys. Well, nifty initially just to keep the point going, but it was gobbled up. Good time by Eala.
This is such a smart play. When she sees Madison Keys and she's anticipated the right direction, she just made her play the first volley. Takes her time and so much space to finish.
Just tangled up with the feet there was Keys.
Advantage Eala.
Yet again, it's just a terrific example from Eala just to make the ball. Make Madison Keys play that extra shot. See the conditions have got slightly windier. That ball just hung in the air. She wasn't able to adapt the feet to get into position.
Maybe anticipating too well there, because you just have to wait for that. Did Eala? Originally had her 16-match winning streak come to an end, and that was in Indian Wells. Hit Keys, Arina Sabalenka, the player to beat her. Just missing with that inside out.
Advantage Keys.
Effortless. That back.
15.
Players of the past who have produced some big wins for the Philippines. Eric Taino beat Michael Chang, so a Grand Slam winner. That was 2003. Kept it low, that approach. Cecil Mammoth also had an excellent call score. He won the NCAAs as a freshman. Treat Huey in the doubles, former top 20, won 8 titles, semifinals at Wimbledon.
14.
As Keys slams that down.
But not a lot on the women's side.
Not as many.
I was actually trying to do a little bit of research on that myself. Not many played WTA Tour tennis.
Yeah. That's something we talked about in an interview, saying we're obviously coming up for a country with not as many pro players coming out. You know, you always like to have that, I suppose, players to look up to from your own nation, you know, the inspiration, etc. So she's the one perhaps now it's going to be the younger players looking up to her.
Well, I actually went to college with a player from the Philippines. There was 2, and this was at UC Berkeley. So Francesca Leao, she was a top 20 junior player and top 400. And then just before I was there was Jean Lorenzo, and she was top 300 in the world.
Great work building the point.
And I know from knowing Francesca Leao how important it was for her when we were in university to be playing anything that she could to represent her country. And I think very much when you come from a small country like that in terms of the tennis terms, when you're able to put it on the world stage, good hitting there, very strong hitting, but when you're able to put it on the world stage through your sport, it just means so much more. And every time you step out there, you're not just competing for yourself, but you're competing for your country. And she talked a lot about that in winning the US Open Juniors.
Yeah.
What a moment that was.
There are a lot of Filipino fans rooting her on. Also, a couple of times in doubles, Grand Slam winner in the juniors. I think got the serve she wanted there, Keys, but still looking to find that rhythm in Miami overall after her first match.
She's not getting a lot of free points on the serve, and that is because of the return quality she's facing today.
Well, she missed it, but she's still sending that message to Keys, stepping way inside the baseline and wanted to crack it.
She's about 2 meters inside the baseline. I'm wondering what Keys is thinking, this young girl. She's won a junior Grand Slam, but she hasn't won a Grand Slam like I have. And here she is dismantling my second serve, standing 2 or 3 meters inside the baseline. Can get into your head a little bit.
They're both doing that, taking turns, punishing those second serves.
Such a good return of serve. She just looks like she's got all the time in the world to execute it, but confident. That's the most important thing.
Great use of the feet there from Keys. Running around, getting into position.
That's a good example from Keys of when you're under pressure, that you keep the speed on your racket through the ball. She didn't decelerate at all there. She stayed fast with the racket.
Built that point expertly well again.
Advantage Eala.
She's so clear in her game plan today. She can just see that Madison Keys is behind the baseline here and just switches the grip last minute. She might have seen Rafa Nadal do that a few times.
Put it deep, and again she's in front with the break.
Eala leads 4 games to 2.
She's in front with a break and she's looking over at her coach going, right now, right here, this is your moment. So ranked 140 in the world. You've got to remember she's playing the recent Grand Slam champion. She doesn't look too bothered by that.
Graduated from the Nadal Academy 2023. Not only playing tennis, but a lot of studying at the academy. Still based there. It's been a battle between these two on the baseline on those returns. Once they grab hold, it really does begin the point on their terms.
Yes, and finding a first serve is going to be important here. It's not the biggest serve. It's an opportunity for Keys to step in. Much better serve there. Finding more the middle of the box, taking a little bit of pressure off. It's not the biggest serve, but it's a tricky serve to return. It looks like there's quite a lot of spin on it, and also, obviously, as a left-hander, ball spinning away from the right-hander on the return.
And then Matt placed that one. Keys wasn't expecting it there. She went to the academy at the age of 13. Obviously not an easy choice because leaving home, being away from family. On the line again.
Serve field.
Spent a couple of serves on that side, on the deuce side. She's changing the direction, getting the desired effect.
Yes, this time going in down the tee. Previous serve was into the forehand wide. Nice mix up.
Not just yet. She tries to end the run of 4 consecutive breaks of serve.
It's dangerous to give Madison Keys a forehand straight after she's hit that return of serve. That's what Keys is looking for, just to neutralise through the middle of the court and wait for that opportunity.
Well, she's maybe resorting to guessing there. You could understand why Eala, she put it the other way, did Keys.
This is a beautiful forehand from Keys. She gets her feet around the ball so quickly, takes it on top of the bounce. So much speed that ball gathers.
Break chance. Oh, another sizzler. These returns, they're putting on a clinic, Keys and Eala.
We talked about this in our first round match, how her serve didn't look like it was as fluid in terms of the action as we're used to seeing. I actually thought it looked like she'd made a technical change on it, but her husband and coach,
I think they're both looking for a call there, didn't come.
Her husband and coach just spoke to her midway through that first round match and just said that you're getting too long at the bottom of your service action. Just felt like she was looking to kicking everything, coming up underneath the ball rather than getting up on top of it.
And then towards the end of the match, that's when coach said start hitting more flat on the serves, and that's what she started doing. Middle of the second.
And she's not having very much success when she's having to execute her second serve. And I think this game she's trying to make a little bit of a switch up to get it onto the backhand of Eala. She's been so dominant on the forehand return off the second serve.
Just about made that. How about that dynamic of her hitting the kick serve on that outside to a lefty? Is it more advantageous or easier because you're a left-hander because you're able to take it on the forehand, or is that irrelevant?
I think it's a bit irrelevant. I guess it depends where the lefty wants to go with their next shot. And also where Eala is going to return from, what position. In that one that you're talking about, she returned really quite far back off it. It's quite hard for her to flatten that out. It's going to give Keys time to hit the next ball.
Finding the serve right at the end of the game. Important there for Keys. It draws level after chasing it for so much of this first set.
It's been mentally, it's been an excellent 8 games from Madison Keys. She was 8-1 in terms of points to start off this match, and she's now 21 points up to 19 if you look at it overall. But she could have got a little bit mad at herself. She could have lost emotional control, and she hasn't, and it's been important. Eala had in her previous two service games, she had game points opportunities to win both of those games, and Madison Keys stepped up on those 2 points and executed big time tennis, was aggressive, and If she was looking at the scoreboard, she may have been frustrated, but Keys was very much in the present, playing point by point, and that's impressive.
Oh, I was there for
15-0.
kind of on a similar note, playing point by point, something she did at the Australian Open and has been doing this year, you know, finding ways to win matches, trying to find solutions out on court.
Eala, please, at the changeover, it's her thigh.
Train will be on the way for Eala. Whereas maybe in the past, the method for Keys may be just to blast, try and blast her way out of those situations.
I think so much of this is also the fact that Madison Keys, she's enjoying the tennis, she's enjoying the journey of being a tennis player. She now plays with a lot more freedom because she's got that Grand Slam behind her, and she's not, you know, she's in a really good place. And when you're in a good place, you're so much more comfortable trying to find solutions.
It's been really big last few months for her. Married at the end of last season. Some of her fellow players attending that wedding as the trainer waits to come on. Then wins the Australian Open title. Turns 30. That one was simpler than the previous one.
30-14.
She doesn't look that comfortable with the first backhand volley. I think that these balls, you've got to close down the net. Very tough ball, fairness. Finish it off in the end.
Bit extra on that second serve.
Advantage Eala.
On the line with that serve. In fact, found some really good serves now. 5-4. She leads. It was well in.
Law 15.
That return worked out perfectly well, just short in the court. The minute she hit it, I thought, oh, she's got a great chance here, because Keys just does not look that comfortable when she comes up to the net.
Just cut that perfectly on the diagonal. Eala stayed in the court. Two set points on the way.
15-14.
Well, maybe that break for Madison Keys just was not favourable for her. This game has been a little bit loose in terms of footwork. That's one of her favourite shots. Eala just was a little bit further behind the baseline, wasn't able to use as much of Madison Keys' pace to redirect.
Second set point. So well played from Eala. Did not back down. And she's a set up on the Australian Open champion. She'll start off the second set, Alexandra Eala. Confident looking a hit on the forehand. So you're asking, Claire, wondering about that 18% points one behind the second serve for Keys. It hasn't happened for a long, long time to have a number like that. But there was a match last year, Beijing against Sara Saribes Tormo, and she won 18% of those second serve points. But she won that match 6-2, 6-1. That's because she cleaned up on her first serve that day.
I was going to say, tell me the first serve percentage that day, please.
Yeah, it was a high first serve percentage, around 78%, and she won 82% of those points.
Yeah, well, it's at 71% the first serve percentage, but she's only winning 48% of points in this match, and she's taking pace off her serve. Her serve's a big weapon. She's playing kind of almost between first and second serves as her first. I think for Madison Keys, the first thing she's got to be thinking about is to get the feet moving. Like, just get the legs going as quickly as possible, because when they are moving quickly, she's seeing the ball a little bit earlier, she's moving up the court, she's taking time away. But when they're feeling a little heavy, she's waiting for the ball. She's losing speed.
Well, she was there, she was moving into it.
Nice adjustment there, and that's exactly what I mean. That ball is just sitting a little bit in the court, and she can afford to just take that extra step forward. Eala has neutralised the return of serve from Madison Keys today so far exceptionally well, that when the ball does come hard through the middle at her, she's able to stay low on the ground and redirect and put Madison Keys into the corner with her next ball. She's done that play over and over very well.
Couldn't keep it away from the hitting zone. That being said, hasn't always made that shot today so far, Keys.
Oh, she hits this one so well. Takes it nice and early, cuts off the angle. Again, she's playing the game points against her on the return games very well through the set. She's staying aggressive on them.
Oh, handled that expertly well again.
Advantage, Eala.
an easy shot to hit as well. First ball that she's hit with the slice forehand. He cuts up underneath the ball. Nice racket control.
Well, change of the direction on the serve after seeing the previous one on that side blasted on the backhand. The forehand was pretty good from Keys also.
It was brilliant, and we've seen this over and over again, that when she does get that forehand after the return of serve, she doesn't hold back. She's targeting into that corner.
That's been an issue for her. We're so used to seeing Keys over the last few months, putting together stretches of points where she's barely missing. It's been a bit up and down today.
She's increased the tempo there, but Eala enjoys that. She likes that pace, because also the ball's coming nice and low to her. Keys just isn't able at the moment to vary the ball speeds.
.24 and 4 stares from Keys so far. Or pardon me, that was just in the first set. 26 overall. All that work paying off there for Eala. Having to work so hard, but getting the hold.
First game, second set.
Can we ask for lubricant?
The first set coming back to win. Bristol having a winning record.
Law 15.
Just hear it. Powering through on that forehand was Eala.
She senses this is the moment to keep the momentum.
Let for serve.
There's a big chance off the net court for Eala.
15-13.
Yeah, Keys got a little bit lucky here. Again, gets her feet up once she's in that position. She sees a space. There's only one place it's going to go.
What a serve that was. If you dropped it from the sky, could have done much better.
That's
32.
Pretty impossible to hit that serve. Obviously it is possible, but she's really having to kick the ball so far away from her opponent's contact point. Take a little bit more of a risk with that serve.
Escapes there. That left 30 point looming large.
1 game all.
And just shy of the hour mark. All tied in the second. Player who's really climbed up the rankings has done it gradually. Eala, every single year going up in the year end. 2023 to 24, 190 to 147th. Even if she doesn't win this match, she'll be around 127, new career high.
15 love.
Won her biggest title last year, 100K on hard courts. Did struggle a bit trying to get into the top tier events last season. 9 times in qualifying and successful 2 of those occasions. Was very close at 3 of the majors. Got to the final round of qualifying at 3 of them.
Not an easy task. In Wimbledon, the final round, she may have played Lulu Sun.
Yes.
She went on to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, that was a 7-6, 7-5. So very tight. She was up 5-2 in the first set. French Open, she lost to Julia Eala from Argentina. Was up by a set and a break in that one. And also a very close one against Gabby Russo at the US Open final round of qualies, where she was up by a set there also. Her redirecting continues to be superb.
And these matches mean so much to her now in terms of ranking. You look at where she is sitting, as you say, if she doesn't win this match, she's going to move to 127 in the world. If she does win this match, it will go even higher. And every player wants to be in that top 100, because that means main draw Grand Slams, no qualifying. And obviously you can go from there.
Makes such a big difference for those players financially. And Claire, if she does win this match, it would be around 117.
Game, Eala.
That's a good recovery. Or 1-2 in the second. Meanwhile, the physio was out.
Love 15.
And Claire, the physios at these events is putting in such great work.
Such great work, such a hard job. It really is. The physios are on site every morning, an hour before practice, and they're obviously not off site until after practice, until everybody's been, after the matches in the day.
Oh, what gets? I mean, if she would have won that point, that would have been Rafa-esque.
No, there's obviously a large team of physios, but for an event like this, you need to have, you're probably speculating 6 in the training room at the moment. You've got courts to cover, and then you're treating people at the same time. You've got notes to take on each player. You've got doctor's appointments to make. I think the worst thing must be doing an on-court treatment where you've got the world looking at you and you've got a stopwatch. Of course, after the event, there's always another event going on. Often there's a WTA event the following week. So some of the team have to leave to set up that event whilst the finals are going on, and there's less players, obviously because the draws got smaller. It's a long, hard job. They do great work.
Danielle Collins gave the physios a big shout out last year during her speech after winning the title in Miami.
It's not just at the tournaments. They're also following up whenever you're not at the tournaments. They've got to have good communications with your physio team at home. It's just so much goes into it. And you can't get it wrong when it comes to medical issues.
It just feels like in this match, Claire, do you think that she's really grown in confidence, Eala?
I felt actually she came onto the court with an abundance of confidence. The start was incredible. She won 8 out of the first 9 points. But I've been impressed by whenever Keys has got back into the match, she stayed positive. Those are the things that against lesser experienced players you think that possibly big points they may hold back, or she hasn't done any of that.
She's had some looks at second serves in that game. Made a lot of them, but 3 miscues off those second serve returns, so it's 2-all.
For this match, it's from Madison Keys' perspective, she cannot rely on the fact that her opponent's level might drop. She's obviously come through the draw. She's beaten Ostapenko in that topsy-turvy match. She came through a lot of situations. Madison Keys just has to get better. That's how I feel at the moment where we are.
You mentioned earlier as well, Claire, that she won the 20 DAS, and it's for an event for 14 is and unders. Obviously, the world getting to know those players has the pros and cons, right? The fact that there's going to be the pressure, the spotlight on those players at such a young age.
It's a big event to win because the agents are there as well, and they're looking to pick up players. All the racket brands and clothing brands are there, but the agents are big. And in her case, she's at Rafael Nadal's academy, so probably these types of events, winning them helps you get there. Maybe you got a bit of a scholarship. In my case, I actually played Le Petit Das. Now, this was a long time ago, in the 90s, and I was 13 years of age. Actually, I played it 2 years, when I was 13 and I was 14. And I was 13 years of age. There was a young 10-year-old that won it. It didn't do my confidence a lot of good.
Her confidence is soaring, especially after that serve, Eala.
Eala leads 3 games
Moves
to 2.
in front once again. She's behind to the score. Keys. Claire, finish off your story about the Petit Das.
Well, the Le Petit Das, the under-14 tournament in Tarbes. All the players these days, well then, but juniors now, they're all desperate to get into this event. You've got to be probably top 100 in the world juniors to get in. You know, in my case, when I was playing it back in the 90s, I was 13 years of age, and I said there was a 10-year-old that won it. She was actually 11.
Oh, hitting back. That was terrific. And on a big point as well.
That was so good. Well, this young player, I remember her mum was doing an interview with the French media and with her, and she said, of course, that when I called her Martina, I only had one thing in mind. So I'll let you guess who that might have been.
30-15.
I'll give you another clue. 5 years later, she won Wimbledon.
That's pretty good if that was the goal, right? Today, Martina after Martina Navratilova, of course, Martina Hingis.
Yeah. Didn't do my confidence a lot of good, and it's it was a big thing back then. Whenever you're that age and somebody so young was doing so well, you just thought, I'm not good enough. That's certainly how I felt at the time, and even later on, a couple of years later on, she was winning Wimbledon already.
Oh, that's a real pity for Madison Keys because the drop shot was just outstanding.
32.
I think what we realize with all of these things is players develop at different times and different ages, and later on we have got McCartney Kessler, and you look at her journey to top 50 in the world at 25 years of age. And it couldn't be any polar opposite than a Martina Hingis in her day.
For these two, Keys, somebody talked about for so many years as a teen. Eala, meanwhile, she said, you know, she knows that players progress at different times, so not putting too much pressure on herself. But meanwhile here, Keys is down a break point. Eala, chance to get to 4-2. Oh, she was so determined. She knew it was a break point. Try and get everything back. Too hot to handle right at the end. %, her first serve percentage in this set, Keys.
Advantage, Eala.
And actually winning around 75% of those points, but that's because we've seen Eala really go for her shots and miss a few, but there, not so.
She's not backing off. She cannot afford to step back on that return off the second serve, so it's just a case of can Madison Keys get it away from her contact point.
Oh, that was not easy. Had to backtrack, Keys. Cool as a cucumber. She's enjoying it.
She really is. You've got to love competing, don't you? These are the moments that you train so hard for. And she knows that Madison Keys is not going to give her this match the easy way. Superb serve.
Advantage,
Again,
Keys.
good calm thinking under pressure from Madison Keys.
And it's a serve, Claire. We talked about this, where she continues to go with the angles, right? Using a lot of the slice serve. Oh, she was almost out of the game, but it continues.
I think on the first serve, you see her missing it and she's going flat. She's missing most a lot of them. It feels like the ball toss is a little bit low. It's going out fractionally. She's underneath the ball with her racket face slightly open.
Let for serve.
And she looked like she got right on top of the ball.
That was her first double of the second set. There, she's trying to hit it flatter. Quickly putting the pressure on, making it difficult for her.
And not afraid to come in afterwards. She's taking it even earlier now. It's a case of, I'm going to hit it so early that I don't have enough time to go back onto the baseline, so I'm just going to come forward and rush Keys. Good tactical switch up there.
Third break point in this game. A couple in the game. One on game point and then on break point. In a bit of trouble now is Madison Keys.
That's all down to the pressure of Eala there on that. What will she have learned from that, from the match against Ostapenko? Set 4 love up.
Just didn't move her feet. Maybe enough there, Eala. We haven't seen some slices, or many of them, from Keys, and that's something she's really infused into her game. Is that something maybe to try and unsettle Eala, because she's so good countering using the pace?
Yeah, she just hasn't had. They haven't had that many extended rallies, have they? She hasn't had the chance to set up and just change it up. Always seems to be either on defense or one ball just to hit and go for it.
15-13.
Certain things that she hasn't seen. We haven't seen her play too many drop shots, but that would have been because of the court position as well of Eala right on that baseline. But I think what she hasn't been able to go to is changing up the height of the ball. She could have changed up the height a little bit more. She would have had also time. She could have played higher, maybe a little bit of a slice as well. Just give Eala different looks.
She'll gladly take that, Eala.
13.
But not so for Keys. It's her first top-tier event of the season for Eala. Had been 0-2 in top-tier qualifying to the Australian Open. Lost to the big server Jana Fett, and in Singapore to Simona Valtert. She's thriving on this stage in Miami.
14-13.
That's a shot that she has hit well today. The inside out forehand. Just gives herself enough space. Pushes her hands out away from her body. Keeps that racket out in front. Terrific play from this young woman. Not holding back there, being brave enough to come in. That was a tricky first volley, wasn't it? But it was her presence at the net that you really noticed.
That smash was harder than the previous one. More incredible counterpunching from Eala. Serving now to stay in this match in Miami, Madison Keys. Only 2 defeats this year against Clara Tauson. Really crushed those balls on the baseline. And then against Sabalenka in Indian Wells. And in terms of players against she's faced outside the top 100, she's won 12 in a row. Last loss, 2023 French Open. Kayla Day beat her.
Yes, and she had a 6-week break from competing after she won the Australian Open. Despite that loss to Sabalenka, I was really impressed with the fact that she backed up the Australian Open and made it all the way to that semi-final. But you asked me yesterday or 2 days ago, was that lost to Sabalenka? Would that change her at all, the psyche of her? And maybe it has had an impact.
Let's pursue.
The first match that she played in the first round, she didn't look convincing there either. Just looked a little unsure of herself.
Racing home. It appears to be the case for Alexandra Eala. She has done it again.
By 2 sets to love.
And that is what it means to her. Second straight round where Alexandra Eala has been the Grand Slam winner. After Elena Ostapenko, this time it's the Australian Open winner, Madison Keys. The team can truly celebrate as she goes through 6-4, 6-2.
Yeah, those are incredible scenes.